Good morning, good morning, good morning, good people. Good morning. Today is October 19th, 2025. It's about 6 o'clock in the morning. Here we are in southwestern Nevada, east of Sin City, west of Death Valley, and south of Area 51. We are in hardscrabble territory where it is populated by people with sharp elbows, pistol packing, rootin' tootin' people. Fertile ground if you've got new ideas, if you have some vision, this is the place to do it because you will get resistance all of the way. So instead of it being easy, it's hard. Kind of like you'd imagine with iron sharpens iron, whatever that means, but it's the hard way. If you can do it here, what do they say about New York City? If you can make it there, you can make it anywhere. Well, I would say pretty much the same thing here. Pretty good. Okay, so this is Sunday. This is our last day of the week. Week 2, day 7 of the chapter entitled Inside Our Skull-Sized Kingdom. Let's see, what do I got here? Prayers to Gordon. Well, okay, we'll deal with that later. Got some bad news that Brother Gordon is, he can no longer stand without passing out. Prayers out for Gordon. Good guy. Didn't really know him well, but my interactions with him have always been very positive. He is sincere and committed. Well, okay. So this is day 7 in week 2 inside our skull-sized kingdom. This week we have learned about how the brain works from a neuroscience perspective, just a little tiny bit, but enough to get the idea of the question, who am I and why do I behave the way I am? By this point in time, we should have gotten, yeah, I'm a lot different than I thought of who I am. Yeah, I've learned a lot about who I am from a neuroscience perspective. And I get the concept of dialing in who I need to be right now by causing the release of neurotransmitters, or I think Kelly McGonigal calls them neurohormones, by the release of those into the brain and bloodstream. And now, today, WYTAYBA, our theme of today, is a practical approach. What you think about, you bring about. But this is G.school, so our focus in G.school is really about our spiritual side. The spiritual leg of the table. We've been focused on the physical leg of the table, how important that is. And as an example, Gordon is now, his physical body is breaking down. He's not able to do very much without passing out. So he's kind of bedridden. And so at this point, it's very clear, the physical part, really tough. Mental, well, he's probably being impacted as well, because if you can't get up without passing out, not good, right? So mentally, you're thinking about that. What does that mean? What's going to happen next? Where am I going, etc. Emotional, leg of the table, controlling your emotions, and spiritual. So this today is the spiritual side. So how do we marry the spiritual with WYTAYBA? What you think about, you bring about. And it just so happens that the reading for today, the gospel reading for today, in every Catholic church around the world, is the parable of the the persistent widow. The persistent widow, or the stingy judge. So for those who don't remember it, there's a judge who doesn't fear God or respect any man. But there's this widow that keeps coming and demanding justice. And so he says, even though he's not afraid of God and he's not afraid of man, he's concerned that this widow is going to bop him one time. And so he's decided, you know what, I'm going to give her what she wants just because she's bugging me. Not because I'm afraid of God, not because I fear any man or I respect any man. It's just what she might do, and I'm going to give her justice. And then it goes on, that is to say that if that can happen, just imagine what God will do for people who are persistent in prayer. And of course, that gets to what is prayer, but to say God will do even more for people who are persistent. So WYTAYBA, what you think about, you bring about. If you think about it, you bring about it. If you do that a lot, you are what's known as persistent. Persistent in prayer, persistent in life gets you there. Does that make sense from a neuroscience perspective? Well, building better habits, right? Building better habits. Let's see, what do we got here? So building better habits. Okay, let's look at what else we got. What's the advice from an 80-year-old? Advice from an 80-year-old is loosen up, relax, except for rare life and death matters. Nothing is as important as it first seems. Okay, good. Beep. Well, I don't understand this. Can't seem to change my account here. I'm not, oh, switch account. There we go. There we go. Sorry for this, people. I was not signed in to the right account. There I am. Now I can share it. Share. Boom. Bingo, bango, bongo. Okay, there we go. What? How'd that happen? Okay, my apologies. So, lighten up, loosen up, relax. Except for rare life and death matters, nothing is as important as it first seems. Seth Godin. It's not a silly thing to do. So many options, so little time. A friend asked if he should put his podcast on YouTube. After all, that's how many people are consuming this sort of content. It's low cost. The comments and subscription offer interesting tools for engagement, and it could grow their base. But just because something might be worth doing, that doesn't mean you should. More always comes with a cost. If you can't do it as well as the medium demands with the resources you have, you should either find more resources or take a pass. And if the not silly thing you are considering is going to add more metrics, not better ones, then walk away. Annoyingly, yet productively, we keep coming back to who's it for and what's it for. So the podcast, who's it for and what's it for? If you can't answer those well, walk away, don't do it. All right. How are we doing for time? Okay, so I have a note for today to talk about. And this could go into WYTAYBA, what you think about, you bring about. We're 12 minutes in. I've got a contact lens sort of thing that I can't really focus well. It's kind of, yeah, looks like I need new lenses. Okay. Is God, the Holy Spirit, Jesus talking to you? So many people say, I talk to God. Yeah, God talks to me. I'll just ask God what he wants. Is that true? Is that real? Perhaps it's your conscience that is in your brain. Or is it only Christians that don't have a conscience? Right? Everyone else, that voice in our head is our conscience. Let your conscience be your guide. But for Christians, and some Christians, it's no, God is talking to me. It's not my conscience, it's God. And you look at those people's lives, and it's like, God is talking to you. You want an easier, better life. You're not asking for pain and suffering. You want an easier, better life. God is talking to you. And here's where you are. Whereas people who have the stuff, who are content in life, they have the stuff, not really saying, yeah, I just do what God tells me to do. More of, I figure it out. I use my education, my training, my experience, my network of friends. I reach out. I try to make the best decision I can rather than sitting on my bed, not learning, not doing, no network of people, and just have God tell me what to do. We don't really have any instances in history of someone who is successful. And you said, well, how did you do it? He said, well, I just prayed. I didn't learn anything. I didn't have a network of friends. I didn't go out and do. It's just poof. Now, interestingly, my dinner last night with my friend Rulon, we talked about Mormonism. I followed up on it. And interesting, went to the Jacob Hansen Trent Horn debate, looked at that a little bit, but it's very long. I can't really do that in 20 minutes. So I looked at other short videos of that, and that led me to Alex O'Connor talking to Jacob Hansen. And then that led to another thing, and the happiness, the positivity index for the Book of Mormon is higher than the Bible. Well, that's true. That would be true, because if you take the whole Bible, the Old Testament has a lot of dark stuff in it, and Revelation is pretty dark. I don't know that he did one just on the Gospels, but the Gospels, Jesus was a lot of suffering and a lot of persecution. So I'm not sure about that, but the Book of Mormon is a mystery. And Jacob Hansen's, one of his strongest arguments is Joseph Smith did not have the ability to write something like this, but he did write something like this. Therefore, it is from God. Well, I would say we can't say just because Joseph Smith could not have written it, it's from God. Perhaps someone else wrote it. Perhaps in that 4-year period of time when the angel Moroni first started appearing to Joseph Smith, someone else came along. He met someone. There was somebody else created a document, whatever. Just because Joseph Smith didn't have the education to write something so good, it doesn't mean it's from God. We have to eliminate all other possibilities, which I don't know what they are and not really interested. However, I would say if the Book of Mormon is really a how to live life in a positive way type of thing, and Jesus' message was be prepared to suffer and sacrifice, it makes me think of the story of the old fallen angel giving advice to the young fallen angel. The young fallen angel says, well, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go tell people there is no God. And the older guy says, well, yeah, that'll get some people, but it won't get a lot, because people can look around and see the beauty in the world. And they can feel love and happiness. So to say there's no God isn't really compelling. Okay, all right, then I'm going to say there's no Satan. And the old devil said, yeah, that will get some people too, but people can look around the world and see there's a lot of evil and suffering. And it's not going to be compelling. So the younger one asks the older one, well, what would you suggest? He said, well, what I suggest is you tell people they just don't need to think about it right now. They don't need to ask the question, is there a God? Is there not a God? We don't need to get into what does the Bible say and what should I know and study. I can do that later. Put it off till tomorrow. And perhaps we can take the facts that the Book of Mormon is concise. Well, it's complete. Let's say, according to Alex O'Connor, atheist, Mormonism is the best, most compact, not compact, but complete moral thing. And say, okay, you want to live a happy life? Boom, here's the Book of Mormon. Do that. Just do this, because it has a score of 9 on one of those things and 10 on the other one. And it is a complete, the most complete, consistent explanation, story, etc. Okay, compare that to Jesus' message. of suffering, of pick up your cross and follow me. Be prepared to suffer. And I would say, absolutely, LDS, great people, great respect. My daughter Lucy was one for several years. It got her through high school into Carnegie Mellon with a scholarship, like a 80% scholarship, got her an education that would not have otherwise been possible. And she did a great job. 100% due to the positive impacts of LDS. Boom. But does that align with Jesus's commands? Does it align with Jesus's commands to love God, love one another, and make disciples of all nations? And so we would come down to our LDS. Do they love God? I would say yes. But who is their God? Do they love one another as Jesus did? Yes, absolutely. They are giving, caring people. Do they make disciples of all nations? Yes, they are out there. They're the most organized, evangelizing, proselytizing people. Their missionary system is the best. The question is, who is their God? And their God is different from the Protestant or Catholic God. Does that mean it's wrong? No, we don't know. And with that, we're going to say and cut.